It would help if I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody. Hello. How is everyone doing? We have a bit of a special streamer today where I tell you why you're all wrong, and I tell you why I'm very smart, and all of you are wrong. Welcome to Debate Club. I hope everyone is feeling angry and toxic and all of those other emotions. On today's stream, I had you guys on Twitter and Discord and now Twitch chat submit to me your hottest takes about anything. This can be any topic, anything. No bars hunt none. I don't know the saying. No bolts hard. No bolts. What am I even saying? What words are even fucking coming out of my mouth? Without further ado, let the debates commence. Most fox girls aren't fox girls. Foxes are naturally very shy and isolated creatures, while most fox girls tend to be big, mommy, and or social creatures. I am going to hard disagree with you. If your only exposure to fox girls are VTubers, maybe this is true. However, fox girls within anime, there's a lot of them that get like attributed to like Holo often gets confused as being a fox girl. She is not a fox girl. She's a wolf. Her name is literally Holo the Wise Wolf, but she gets grouped in with fox girls all the time. Holo in particular pisses me off because the name of the anime she's from is called Spice and Wolf. It's in the title. She is not a fox. Top 10 anime fox girls ranked about how likely they are to outfox you. Number fucking 10. Holo what did I just say? Yu Yu Hakusho? Okay, I guess Yu Yu Hakusho. Kanokon, the girl who cried fox. Hyper Police. Senko is like the only like fox girl that immediately comes to mind here. The point is, fox girls actually stem from kitsune, which there's multiple different kinds of kitsune. Kitsune in a lot of Japanese legends are often labeled as trickster characters. Like one of the most famous legends of a kitsune is that a guy who fell in love with this beautiful woman, and she brought him into her inn, and he ate a nice succulent meal. But actually, he woke up covered in shit, and the woman that was so beautiful turned out to be a fox that just let him out in the middle of the fucking woods to like make him eat shit. The whole like dommy mommy kind of thing is mostly just catering to like current trends. Essentially, the reason they're generally seen as like sweet, sultry, seductive is because the trickster characters. They're wise. They're playful. In some legends, they will. I forget if it's Korean legend or Chinese legends, but I think Ari is based off of the Chinese like equivalent, and I'm forgetting the name of it. Kitsunes are closer to like succubi than they are to a lot of other things. Where the whole like succubus thing kind of comes from is that they do eat sexual energy, and some of them will literally just eat your heart. While it is not true to how foxes are in nature, it is more based off of Japanese, Korean, and Chinese legends of fox women. And explaining that, I felt like Sephiroth's sword 57 explaining that. So anyway, I'm gonna deem this incorrect. I get this point. Thank you very much. Unreal Tournament died when Fortnite got made. I disagree. Not because this is not why Unreal Tournament died, but because I think Unreal Tournament died much earlier, much sooner than the stated point. Unreal Tournament died when Gears of War got made. I don't really know, like I'm not exactly a Unreal Tournament aficionado. The only Epic Games game that I really have any attachment to is Unreal Tournament. Maybe this is gonna be a bit of a touristy take. The 7th generation was kind of the death to a lot of PC games. I shouldn't say death, because I think like it was a very transformative time for a lot of like PC game franchises. A lot of PC game only series were making their transition to consoles, becoming very consoleized. A lot of genres that were previously dominant on PC only were becoming more prominent on consoles, especially like first person shooters as well. Like that used to be pretty much only a PC thing until like probably up until Halo. By the time Halo came out, game developers really figured out like what they were doing with FPS on consoles. It became way more lucrative because the audience was significantly bigger than the PC audience. Let me like fact check myself real quick here. The first Gears of War came out about a year prior to Unreal Tournament 3, and I think Unreal Tournament 3 really was the like final nail in the coffin, which I'm not saying Unreal Tournament 3 is a bad game. I'm actually one of the few people that likes Unreal Tournament 3 and might be my favorite Unreal Tournament, which I know is like a bad take in itself. I know it's like kind of a heated, kind of a not great take, but that's the Unreal Tournament I like the most out of them all. But the reason I like Unreal Tournament 3 was because I grew up playing a lot of Unreal Tournament 4, which actually I have an update date regarding Unreal Tournament 2004, but I played a lot of Unreal Tournament 4 in like a single player instance, just like running around the maps. And I played a lot of Unreal Tournament 3 on Xbox 360, and that is the one I played the most because that was the most consoleized version of Unreal Tournament. I think just generally by the 7th generation, a lot of people were kind of getting tired. Well, not necessarily getting tired, but like the idea of the our super arcadey, super like twitchy boomer shooter was kind of like maturing into like basically Halo. I think also a lot of the trends were just generally moving towards like military shooters in general. And so Unreal Tournament just didn't really get the best reception because it was a very consoleized version of Unreal Tournament. It's a lot slower pace. It lacks a lot of the identity because the whole game just looks like fucking Gears of War. And Gears of War had a lot of success the year prior. That was the game before Halo 3. Gears of War was the reason to buy an Xbox. So I don't think Fortnite killed Unreal Tournament. I mean, if we're talking about the reboot, oh yeah, for sure, 100%. But if we're talking about Unreal Tournament as a whole, no. Unreal Tournament 3 killed Unreal Tournament, and and that was largely killed because they were trying to cater to the same audience that bought Gears of War prior, and it was very consoleized, just as a lot of PC series were going. Like Fallout became very consoleized. What about 4? 4 died because of Fortnite. I'll give this person that. I'll give you a half point, but I think Unreal Tournament as a whole died just because I think interest in Unreal Tournament is just kind of not there anymore. Anyway, next take. The decline of Legend of Zelda fans was caused by open world integration and wouldn't have begun if they stuck to, or I'm assuming that's meant to be stuck to the original formula. I hard disagree. Zelda is more popular than like ever. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom really like pushed the envelope past just being more Breath of the Wild, but it's still more Breath of the Wild. It's still a really good fucking game, and more people play Zelda. Like, how many games like have like they meant decline of the fan base? That I cannot particularly speak to because I'm not exactly active in the fan base. What I do know is Zelda is more popular than ever. By the time Skyward Sword came out, a lot of the reviews were saying the formula is like getting really tired and linear, and they want something else. Some of the most asked gameplay of all the games, to be honest. That's true, but a lot of the limitations of Skyward Sword came from mostly just it being like a lot more linear than the other games, and a lot of like criticism was just like, can Zelda do something new? Because like every game from like Ocarina of Time, I don't know. I'm gonna give this point to Baka. Next take from Kalia. We actually have it too for here. This is something I can talk about. The downfall of Pokemon began when they scrapped pixel art. I disagree. I think the downfall of Pokemon was Generation 3. When I say the downfall of Pokemon started in Generation 3, I'm not speaking about the quality of the games, but a lot of business practices that would later lead to the downfall of Pokemon started in Generation 3. Actually, fun fact, I wrote an entire video essay about this, and I've been sitting on this for years because it's such a fucking long video where I just dissect every single Gen 3 game and like go through the context of Generation 3 and like why everything is the way that it is to like an autistic degree, and I have not worked on it because I need help editing. To give a TLDR of a lot of my research regarding where a lot of the business practices kind of started going wrong. Essentially, Pokemon became such a big fucking phenomenon in Generation 1 and 2, they needed a shell company to deal with merchandise. The biggest example of this is actually Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale Darkness. Also, another example is Fire Red Leaf Green, but I'll talk about that in a second. Pokemon Coliseum was made by a company called Genius Sorority. Genius Sorority was made up by a bunch of like ex-Dragon Quest devs. It had such a big like alumni of like old like Dragon Quest, old Final Fantasy people. Basically just like, let's just make like an all-star team of like RPGs specifically to make Pokemon RPGs for consoles. Game Freak didn't want their games to be on consoles because they felt like it would go against the nature of the whole like collecting thing. Pokemon was designed specifically for handhelds and did not think it would work very well on consoles. So Nintendo went around Game Freak's wishes and they shoved an RPG into Coliseum, which was just meant to be a successor to the Pokemon Stadium series. And I don't think they did a very good job because they don't really know much about Pokemon, and I think it has a lot of problems with the way that it plays and a lot of problems like in the nitty-gritty. And then there was also a lot of like weird little decisions, which to be fair also existed in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, where it's just like they made a bunch of decisions in both Colosseum and XD Gale Darkness to add a bunch of grinding so that you specifically could not finish it in a rental, which I think is incredibly anti-consumer. But being anti-rental is a big thing in Japan, and they don't really want people renting their games. They want them to like buy them, which to an extent I get, like a we want money kind of perspective, I get. But at the same time, it's like games are fucking expensive, especially console games. Games were generally good for like a little bit after, but I think by like Gen 6, 7, don't fucking laugh. Generally about Generation 6, I think that's kind of where... Actually, no, not even Generation 6. I think Generation 8, it really started showing, like when Pokemon Generation started coming up more frequently, I think it really started showing the cracks. We really saw like basically everything going on when Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out, and then Legends Arceus, and then Scarlet and Violet, and how fucking broken that game was at launch. The next take here is Gen 4 was mid. I'm gonna say Diamond and Pearl are mid. Platinum is a banger. Heart Gold, Soul Silver are bangers. I disagree. I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver is like probably the second best game in the entire series. Platinum is really fucking good. That's a lot of people's favorites. If you're playing Diamond and Pearl, and like, keep in mind, they're not perfect games. They're not. Like, Diamond and Pearl is like the crux of why Generation 4 is not that good. They add a lot of stuff, but they're still very faithful to the original Gold and Silver in Heart Gold, Soul Silver remakes. But Heart Gold, Soul Silver are like honestly the best remakes we've had. The amount of content in Generation 4 was just fucking insane. No game has ever matched the amount of content in Generation 4. Not all of it's good. Like how many people are like really are really jazzed up to do like the fucking like the Battle Frontier? How many people are like, oh yeah, I fucking love contests. I like contests actually. I shouldn't say that. Nothing has ever topped the Red Battle in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'm sorry. Nothing has ever topped it. It has the peak of the fucking series. Even if it's based off of a very weak starting game, like the Gen 4 engine is not very good. I will give you that. The Gen 4 engine fucking sucks, and I'm not gonna disagree with you on there. There's just so much shit jam-packed into the Gen 4 games. It's hard to call them mid, but if you're just playing Diamond and Pearl, yeah, I would agree with you. But like all the other games in the series, also not to mention the fucking spin-offs during Gen 4. You had Battle Revolution. Actually, hold on. What were the spin-off games during Generation 4?
Later.
Okay, yeah, the spin-offs are pretty good. Now look at the list. It's like, okay, you got like Mystery Dungeon and Ranger. And Ranger is still a very acquired taste. Hello, Kalia. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You just missed me talking about why I think your takes are technically wrong. I technically gave you a free agree. I'm not counting that as a point, but I did give myself a point because I am correct on everything. I've made a mistake and confused for canon. My point still stands. Star Wars still has too much world building with it and too much stuff being expanded. Basically not as left to imagination, like how people used to do with the Force. I disagree. All Star Wars lore sucks. You have the like original trilogy, and those movies are fantastic. Nothing else needed to exist. You didn't need to make prequels. You didn't need to make sequels. You didn't need to add CGI. It looks like shit. But they were like, no, fucking Grotto needs a story. You could have done books. You could have just left it books. Halo does this. I think Halo, like, I don't care about Halo lore that much, admittedly. I like the games. They're fun. But like anything outside of like original 3 trilogy, it's like it gets kind of like, okay, all right. I think it would have been perfect. Or like, I don't know, games, make video games, make books, make other mediums, but just leave the original fucking trilogy alone. Being overdone decades, being by literally thousands of people. True, it's just kind of like too many chefs in the kitchen or something like that. I'm giving myself the tally for that because all Star Wars lore sucks. Fuck you, Ralph. Fuck you, Ralph here. PS5 has no games? No. Fuck you. You know what? It finally has games. And I'm gonna tell you how it has games, okay? So, if you don't know, recently the PS5 has been cracked. You need specifically a launch model for this and a very specific firmware, but it's been cracked and you can put Linux on it. It runs Steam games really fucking good. So you know what? Finally, it has video games. It took 6 years. Doesn't count. It's a PC then. All consoles are PCs now. They run 8, whatever the fucking architecture is. The next generation is going to be PC. I swear to God. PlayStation 6 is not gonna be that. It's gonna be still locked down to shit. It's gonna be terrible, and it's gonna have fucking a bunch of AI bullshit. But you know what? We have the Steam Machine. We have fucking the Project Helix, which is literally just gonna be a gaming PC. It's gonna be a gaming PC running Windows and Xbox mode. I think the difference between consoles is that games get optimized. Okay, here's the thing. 7th generation would like to have a word with you, Gothcat. I love booting up Sonic Unleashed on my fucking PS3. Have it run at like 5 frames per second anytime the werehog is on screen and the fan's blaring at like 100%. And I shit you not, I'm not being hyperbolic. I tried that recently, and that was my fucking result. And I looked it up online. That's just how it fucking runs on PS3. Anyway, I'm giving myself 2 points for that. I won 2 arguments. I won 2 arguments in 1. Hot take, but if you're mad about the serialization of female characters, the same should be for male characters, as it outs you as virtue signaling and vice versa, but there's obviously nothing wrong with making sexy characters. I hard disagree. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna say the opposite. If you are one of those people that are like, oh yeah, Stellar Blade has so many haters, no one cares that they put ass and titty in your game. The Stellar Blade outcry was such a fucking grift. I did not see anyone fucking complain about Eve's design in Stellar Blade. Not a single fucking person. I seen a lot of admiration, actually. And then you know what else I saw? I saw a bunch of people being like, oh, the fucking liberals are mad about Stellar Blade. I'm gonna buy Stellar Blade. I'm gonna post AI fucking ass shots of a black girl in the fucking Stellar Blade outfit. No one cares. You can put sexy characters in your video games. It's okay to do that. In any discussion about fucking Stellar Blade's like weird sexualization, any like negative criticism I've seen about Stellar Blade isn't about Eve being sexy, because no one cares. The criticism I have seen, and I honestly agree with, is Eve looks really fucking stupid dressed like the way she does in a lot of the situations she's in. There's like a point in the game where like something really like traumatic happens, and like you would expect her to have a reaction, and like you can put her in a bikini and she just looks like a fucking golden retriever through the entire scene. That's the criticism I've seen, and I agree with that. Second part of this, hot take, but if you're mad about the sexualization of female characters, you should be the same for male characters. I disagree with this part, because the Twitter cultural warriors like to have is that no one is getting mad about male characters. But here's the thing, those people want sexy male characters. They want to be the big buff white dude. If a game has like any kind of like other protagonist other than like a buff white dude, they fucking complain. There was a Twitter post I saw the other day where like Stellar Blade, if it was made in the West by liberals, the picture they used depicted like a black woman with the fattest fucking ass I've ever seen.
Nice.
And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you want that? It worked against them because I literally downloaded fucking Deathloop because I went searching, because I was like, wait a minute, how many games actually have black female protagonists? Not many. There's 40 according to Backlog. I guess I have to give you the fucking point because I am agreeing with you. Anyway, that's my pronouns rant. Fucking pronouns. Fucking pronouns. Hot take, dragon girls with fat tails are better than ones with thin tails. I agree. I don't know. I think fat tails on dragons is a little underutilized, but like I want more dragon features on my dragon girls. Like I want them to have like pale skin. I want them to have like more scales, big meaty fucking claws. I actually have a dragon girl OC. I warn you, it's a little much. There's like elements of this design that I really love. Like I love the scales. Tail could also probably be a little thicker. She got like big thaws. She has like thigh high things going on. The artist, by the way, is Pride, and she did a fantastic job doing this based off of like a really schizophrenic doodle I made in paint. So I agree. Another, you can't fix her. I can and will fix her. I agree with you on the first point. However, because you were wrong about the second point, I'm giving myself the point on both of those. She's better broken. No, I'm saying I can fix her, and I just disagree with you. Companies don't make modular devices because it cuts into their profit by selling you entirely new item, but they fail to understand they could corner the market by untapping by doing it first. I disagree. I agree with the first part. I literally went on a schizophrenic rant, I think in Nora's Discord about this. They want their stuff to break so that like nothing is made with like durability in mind. Everything is made as cheaply as possible so that they can sell you the same thing at the same price but cheaper, so their profit margins get better. But then also it has the benefit of people having to replace it, and so they are slowly removing repairability out of their stuff. Unless you're like a big tech enthusiast though, most people don't really care about modularity. Think about why people buy like iPhones usually. People buy iPhones because they're like really hard to fuck up on software. They're really easy. Everything is like super intuitive. They just don't want to think about it. That's why I moved to iPhone. I don't want to think about it. Since moving to iPhone from Android, it's been a very positive experience. It just works, and that's what people want. The unfortunate truth about like technology and just like the average consumer is that like they just don't want to think about it. How many people are like, yes, I'm going to fix my life laptop. Most people don't, and companies know this. That's the big thing, is like you can't, like, with stuff like this, you have to like look at the like average consumer and like what the average consumer is like willing to go through. I think modularity isn't quite the selling point a lot of tech enthusiasts really think it is. Most people aren't tech enthusiasts. Most people don't want to deal with the modularity and get really intimidated by modularity. Linux is like probably the ultimate example of that, because that's an entire OS. You can just fucking do whatever you want with. So you're saying it's an untapped marketing? No. I'm not saying it's an untapped market. I'm just saying it's a very specific market. Kikaz, I know you're fucking with me, but this is a very hyper serious debate stream, and so I need to be super hyper serious because I need to win the debate, okay? Which I think I did. I'm giving myself the point. I have autism, don't joke with me. Modern consoles, this is another thing we've talked about. Crazy. Main reason PCs are still better. I half agree. I think consoles now are better than they have been in a very long time. Ignore everything about like repairability. Ignore this entire generation and just look at the hardware. I think Xbox, we had the like 2-tier system with the like the Series S and the X. I think that was a really good idea on paper. Put out a lesser, a lower power console that's like pennies. And if like all the playing is like, I don't know, some like the yearly sports game and like Call of Duty, it's like a perfect machine for that. Even the S runs like really well. I've been really impressed with it. Companies themselves have done so much bullshit. Like Xbox has been so mismanaged for the last like pretty much this entire maybe like second half of the 7th generation. And like PlayStation has just like kind of developed the monopoly because Xbox has been too busy shooting itself in the foot. So they're like, let's raise the consoles up like a lot this year. That has more to do with like the climate of the world at the moment. But the consoles themselves, they're like everything I've wanted out of like even the fucking Switch 2 is like everything I've wanted out of every company. If you're looking at just the hardware, not anything else, I can't complain about it. People are saying it's like another Wii U, but it went way above and beyond. Steam Deck over Switch 2, I agree with you. Steam Deck clears Switch 1 and 2, but they really need to be releasing those things faster with better hardware if they want to make it last. But anyway, it is time. What is the final score here? Queen is in fact not winning every argument. Aha! There was a clause I didn't tell you about. I'll have you know, dear Macaroon. The game was rigged from the start. When you gave your hot take, any victory is actually my victory, because if I agree, that means I'm correct, which means I won every single argument. I am simply just smarter than all of you. I'm sorry. My intellect is just smarter than everyone. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.